Incoming transmission.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's Friday the 18th of November 2016 and I've got an Amiga continuation series for you. Yes, we are approaching the end of our Dizzy saga, but before we go into the depths of that, I'm going to do two reviews today. First one is Dizzy Panic, and the second one will be Bubble Dizzy. Now, we're almost at the end of these little mini-game type things. We've got, I believe, we've got Dizzy Down the Rapids and Go Dizzy Go. Those are the last two in this kind of series. Then we'll move on to the end of the game series itself of the adventure games. But this is so far removed from the Dizzy series, I don't quite know what they were thinking, quite honestly. I mean, there's no sort of reference to Dizzy whatsoever here, apart from Daisy looking bored as hell on the side there, which I can completely see. I mean, this game, if this was a standalone game, it would be fine. But for some reason, it's got a Dizzy attachment, and I don't quite understand why. It's not like you're controlling Dizzy in any aspect of this game whatsoever. And it's really just a case of matching up the symbols to the things on the conveyor belt, you know? Match the blank symbols to the shapes that are falling. It's not even, you can't even compare it to something like Tetris. I mean, it does get ludicrously hard quite quickly, I have to say, but that doesn't, you know, it doesn't really save the game. It just makes it more frustrating, and I don't know, this is just boring, absolutely boring. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking. I think at this point the Oliver twins didn't really have much to do with Dizzy at this point, because I really can't see them being part of this. I mean, I hate to slam a Dizzy game, I really do, because genuinely I'm a massive fan of the series, as you know from watching my reviews before. I mean, this Big Red Software seemed to take Dizzy in a completely different direction, and this just goes to show it, really. They've taken Dizzy out completely. I mean, that's genius. He's on the loading screen, but that's it. I mean, are we supposed to be playing as Dizzy, moving the conveyor belt? Why didn't they put him at the bottom of the screen doing something? You know, even just having him on the screen would be enough, but Daisy? Why? It just makes no sense. I mean, it's like a factory game, puzzle game. It doesn't belong in the Dizzy world at all. It's very odd. Anyway, there are literally three controls here. You've got left and right to move the conveyor belt, and fire will drop the shapes down quickly. So you've got to do that anyway, or else you're going to end up in trouble. You can see here you've got you started off with the star shapes, then you got the triangle, then the green cross arrived. the green cross arrived. The green cross code man. Yes, he'll see you safely across the conveyor belt. Anyway. It's literally just a case of matching the shapes to the conveyor belt empties. It does get harder, but it's not a saving grace for me at all. I mean, I think if this had just been called Conveyor Belt Panic or something Panic, but not Dizzy Panic, nothing, like I say, nothing to do with Dizzy. It really doesn't deserve having the name attached to it, because it's nothing to do with it. It's just weird. What a strange little mini game they had in the series. I mean, were they really that short of ideas they couldn't come up with a Dizzy game? I mean, we've got Bubble Dizzy coming up shortly, and that at least has Dizzy in it, you know? I've actually got these the wrong way round, by the way. Bubble Dizzy actually came first, but it was too late by this point to change it, so I do apologise. We sort of think of them as going back in time, so we're going forwards and then we're going backwards. But they were released in the same year, so it's not really too much of an issue. So anyway, all those people who are going, this wasn't released first, that's why, okay? So, my bad. Anyway, this really is all you need to do in the game. You can see that it does get harder. You can see the shapes do come down quicker, and it is harder to match them up before the other shapes come down and smash into the conveyor belt. Every time you miss a shape, obviously those tubes come down. You can see them coming down faster now, and once it reaches the bottom, it's game over. So think of it kind of along the lines of Tetris, but opposite and not as good. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm not a big fan, I'm afraid, guys, as you can probably tell. So I'm not going to linger with this game. I'm going to leave it there, pretty much, and we'll move on to Bubble Dizzy, because at least that's a little bit better. Not much, but it is better. So we'll move on to that, and let's see where we go. Nice wibbly wobbly Codemasters logo there, like that. That's nice. Nice effect. And at least there's bubbles on the screen to show kind of what it's about. But this is a Dizzy game, ladies and gents. It is. So let's get stuck in. Bubble Dizzy is a bit of a different game, actually. Wait for it to load, why don't we? Very different game to what we've been used to from the Dizzy series, and at least, like I said before, it's got Dizzy in it. I am talking over a black loading screen right now, ladies and gents, so I do apologise for that. Obviously I don't edit while I'm loading things in, because I'm talking to you guys. Here we go, nice little loady screen there. Oh look, Oliver the Octopus. So these are the bad guys, or your hindrance, we might say. And they are not going to be very helpful. I think the whale is probably the only thing, and the pearls you can collect. The whale you can stand on. So here's our screen. On the right hand side, you've got the oxygen gauge. If that runs out, obviously you lose a life. Now the idea is that Dizzy has been made to walk the plank. Where have we heard that before? Treasure Island Dizzy maybe. But there you go. There's the whale. You can stand on that one because it's got a flat surface. The electric eels, yeah, they're not very friendly, and every time you get hit by something your oxygen will deplete, so you've got to look after that as well. So there you go. The idea is to reach the top of the screen using the bubbles to your advantage, and each bubble has a separate time that it will be available. The faster the bubble, the shorter the time span, so you want to try and use the big ones to your advantage while you wait for the smaller ones to get to the where you are on the screen. And once you are free at the top of the screen, you just basically start again. So you are literally trying to avoid everything on here. I'm not doing a very good job of avoiding stuff. My oxygen's low, so I need to get the hairy hell out of there. Yeah, so you can see there that bubble lasted not very much time at all. So you've really it's kind of a strategy game in a way, but it's not really what I would warrant to be a Dizzy game. I mean, at least Quick Snacks had kind of the Dizzy theme running through it, and you had to rescue the yolk folk, and the same with Fast Food Dizzy. That was good fun as well, so I missed that epically. But you can see really that it's only a Dizzy game because Dizzy's in it. It's not. There's no sort of continuation of the Dizzy adventures, or even why this is a sub game. I mean, this could have been a mini game within one of the main games, couldn't it? Really, I believe. I just don't think that either of these two games really deserve to be standalones. They could have been on the same disc. In fact, they were on the same disc. They were in the same compilation pack anyway, which on the Amiga, as I'm playing it here, it was on those discs. I don't think it had a solo release. I could be wrong, but it was on the C64, the Spectrum, Commodore, and the Amstrad, I think, as well. But again, not Dizzy's finest hour, and Dizzy Down the Rapids, there's a reason I've left that till last. Okay, so this to me is a bit of a, again, as a standalone game under a different title, I could see it, but another Dizzy game that doesn't really scream Dizzy. This would have been a great little Codemasters game if it had a different character in it. But is it cashing off the back of the Dizzy popularity, which I really hesitate to say it is, but it is. So that's my outlook on it. It's a bit of a shame because the presentation on it is fantastic. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous. It's really, really nicely done. And the fact that you've got to sort of plan out where you go, I would say probably though you're going to end up very frustrated at points, because sometimes you're there, the bubbles don't actually get to where you are, or you get stuck under a ledge and then you're forced to jump out into the middle, and then you get all the way to the bottom again, which just, it's no fun. You can see here I'm even struggling just to get above that ledge there, missed that epically, and off we go travelling to the top of the screen. Now the small bubbles are obviously the ones that you want to try and get on, because they are the fastest ones and get you to the top of the screen the quickest. However, they don't last overly long time, so you've got to really plan. Well, you can't even plan it really. You've got to sort of rely a lot on luck to get out of here. There you go, I'm actually at the top of the screen now, and I'm going to delicately balance on that tiny bubble. Now you get a bonus for whatever oxygen you've got left, and you get bonuses for your pearls that you collect as well, which, as you can see, I haven't done very well on. So let's see if we can get through this level as well, and it should give you enough gameplay to actually make up your own minds on this one. I would recommend probably giving it a play. I don't think it's really got too much to come back to. It's not really got massive replay value. You might enjoy it. You might be one of these people that enjoys a challenge like this. This kind of game isn't really my cup of tea. I prefer the Dizzy adventure games, but you know, saying that, fast food was fantastic, quick snacks was fantastic. If they'd have done something along those lines, I think they could have been onto a real winner, but I just find this to be tedious and frustrating at times. You're probably going to see that in here actually, because I'm starting to get that vibe already. Watch where the bubbles are. You'll see that you get some on one side of the screen, and then you get nothing on the other side of the screen. So it's just like, how are you meant to do this? The enemies are really hard to avoid, because once they sort of go past you, you jump over them, and then your oxygen will deplete. So it is kind of frustrating in that way as well, where you've got no sort of means of, you know, getting rid of the bad guys on the screen. They are literally there for life. You can't kill them, you can't jump on them, you can't eliminate them. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. There you go. I'm out of oxygen and I'm out of time. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Have a great weekend. Bye.